Oh, so good evening. Welcome to the show. This is issue 33. I'm Penny, and if I can find my mouse, this is Horlicks.
Hello, everyone.
So, nice new haircut today.
Yes. Oh, sorry. I just had some feedback from the video. Yeah, I had to get my hair cut. It drives me mad when my hair's too long. So, yeah, I'm feeling very nice and refreshed.
Good, good. So now, we haven't told, I don't think we've told everyone this yet, but you are going on holiday, which
Yes.
means you won't be able to present the show next week.
No.
Um, I have looked at petitions to stop you from going on holiday, but I can't find any appropriate ones. So unfortunately, we're going to have to let you go. But I believe we have a wonderful co-host lined up. In fact, he may be so good we may not ask for you to come back.
Right, that's fine.
Okay.
No.
I'll just do a quick check up on the comments before we start the build, and then obviously we'll go into the build. So Love Minis has the title this week of being first comment with a wave. Teddy Connor says hello all. Love Mini says hi. Teddy Connor says hi. Love Minis. I think that was the start of a conversation there. Alan Rooney says hi. The Love Mini says Alan Rooney hi back. The Alan Rooney, the bin man from Finglass. Roger Kendall says the highlight of my week. Who needs the soaps? Raise a lump. Soaps suck. So true. Dave Say says hello all. Hi Dave. Hi all.
I
Hello
don't.
all. Hi Dave Say. It's like an episode of the Walton there, isn't it? Night Grandpa. Night John Boy. Hi Penny Horlicks and everyone. Hi Horlicks. Horlicks, I need to talk to you about 3D printers at some point. That's from Love Minis. Roger Kendall says, "Don't go, Horlicks. You'll be missed." Um, and
Oh,
then Dave Safe says, "Hi, Love Minis."
yeah. Hi, Dave. Hi, all the Daves are here. Yep. Alan, hello. Teddy. Who have I missed? Roger, hello. Hello, hello. I just need to say actually before, just so it's out there, if Stuart is watching this evening, I've received an email from him re a screw pot, and I think there was a bit of confusion because I had two emails and they both come from the same person requesting a red one and a yellow one. So I have printed both, thinking they were two separate people, but obviously I'm going away and I've emailed him back last week and I still haven't heard anything. So I need his address to send this stuff to. So if you are watching, Stuart, then please send me an email in case you haven't got it, or I've sent it about 3 times. So yeah, I just wanted to get that
Brilliant.
out.
So not only do we act as a Routemasters build show, we also act as a post office for messages.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to switch my camera. Shall we go through the parts before we build this week's issue?
Yeah.
It is a smaller one this week, but I don't think it's going to be any less exciting because it kind of dawned on me today. You remember issue 29? There was a hell of a lot to do, and as a result, there was less content in the magazine other than the instructions
Mm.
because the magazine is the same number of pages every week. So obviously, more instructions means less space for the interesting articles. So this week being less to do means the instructions are smaller, and they've chucked an extra poster in the magazine. So it's not all bad, is it?
No.
Right. So okay then. Right. So do you want to go through the parts list then?
Yep. And is your camera on you?
My camera's on me on the parts.
Oh, it is now. Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
I can still see my belly.
You
So
see your what?
no, I could just see my top in the
Oh, your
screen.
belly.
My belly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Do you know what? I've been a bit disorganized. I haven't got my screw parts ready. Sorry, guys. There's always something I forget. Anyone who watches me stream regularly will know that no matter how well I plan, there's always something I forget. So,
And I'm trusting
yeah,
you're washing up liquids in your storage pot in front of you. Yeah.
there you go.
You were organised.
Yeah. Normally, I'd say use the screw pot, pop it into the screw pot, but because I use the pill boxes, I'm going to use those instead. Okay, I'm ready for the check.
Well, okay, so 33A, front right wheel arch.
Okay. Now, I've not compared this to last week's, but I think it's safe to assume it's a mirror image of last week's. I'm looking for any bits that I recognise. There's a ridge there, I don't know, but it is metal. There you go. That's proof that it's metal and not painted plastic. Yeah, so that one's check.
Okay, yeah, 33B, we've got a right mud flap.
Okay, exactly the same as last week, but this one's got an R on it. So if just in case you get it muddled up with the only mudguard in the issue.
Yeah.
But I suspect that this is a mass-produced, like the rear one. I bet it's exactly the same as the rear one, so they just use one for the front, one for the rear.
Okay, and then we should have PM screws, which look like flange screws to me.
Flange screws. Q laughing from Chris Campling.
Yeah, he likes that word.
Yeah.
Or
Okay,
that's yeah, Cheryl does. And GM screws.
Okay, and 4 of those. I think there's going to be 6 screws in total. Obviously, we get supplied extras.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is how I get a nice little collection built up. You think how many I've thrown away from the early builds where I'm like, oh, I don't need this, so I've got rid of it. And I've still got a big collection of screws.
They're brilliant.
Right, so,
I mean, I collect them. Like even after the builds, I'll keep them because you never know when you might need them. Like when you do 3D prints and things, you might need to screw things together. Or
well, that's what I'm thinking. I'm now starting to print off some little Well, I'm going to be printing off some little boxes just to put small parts in. But
yeah.
I got a feeling all of the older guys will go, "This is me." But my granddad, what he used to do was, he used to get jam jars, and then what he'd do is he would screw the lid of the jam jar to the bottom of a shelf, so that they would. Yeah, and you could just pull it off like that. Obviously, this is a jam jar. I suspect the older guys will go, yep, I do that. But it was brilliant because it used space that was dead.
Yeah, yes, brilliant idea.
Okay, so would like to pull up the instructions for stage 1?
Yep, so stage 1.
This should be fairly simple because we've pretty much done the same thing last week, and we've done there you go, Teddy Connor. I still do that, Penny. So the mud flap, this will be the 4th time we've done the mud flap, and it'll be the 2nd time we've done the wheel arch in this way, and it'll be the 4th wheel arch that we've fitted.
Okay, yep. So it says in the red circle, make sure you have the mud flap the right way round, positioning the cutout corner at the top right as shown here. Okay, so take the right front wheel arch 33A and the mud flap 33B. Identify the 3 screw holes on part 33B and the corresponding sockets, and then fix them in place with 3 PM screws.
Okie dokie. So, right, so we have the wheel arch, we have the mud flap, and we're going to position it with the cutout bit on the right-hand side, and just like that. And I seem to remember we're covering up the letter. That's the easiest way to remember.
Yeah.
So we've got the R there. This autofocus is really not doing a very good job today, is it?
No, I have that, and it's a shame. It is a shame.
Yeah. Oh, so there's the R. So we're going to turn it that way to cover that R up. So yeah, to be honest with you, actually, it's not awful. So Oh, that's what I'll talk about it later on. Right, it's a little bit of washing up liquid. Way, way, way too much on there, to be fair, but better to have too much than not enough. So I seem to remember that what I did last time, the last 2 weeks, is I popped that into the mud flap and then it falls out again. Right, and then we can find it like so. Turn it gently until I find. Is this what my day is going to be like? As if my day is going to be like this, I'm going to be like, no, don't want to know.
Time for bed.
Oh. It's trying to go in at a slight angle. There we go. So I've just put that on loose because I've still got the other two to put on. Whoops. Whoops. Chucking my parts around. And I'm also lifting it a little bit because I don't want. I mean, I don't know how easy or hard it will be to scratch that paintwork, but you know, let's not push fate. So, oh, looks like that one don't want to go in today. Sorry, guys. I'm just. There we go. Because it's black on black on black, it's actually quite hard for me anyway to line it up. Once I get it in, it's fine. It's just an eyesight issue. I'm getting old. So, and theoretically, I don't know if you can see, but I can just check. You see that hole in the middle? It goes all the way through. So, I'm happy with that. And I just want to tighten it so that if I was to tighten it anymore, it'll squash the rubber. I don't want to squash that rubber and misshape it. It's probably just a bit too much. That one's too much as well. There we go. So we've got the mud flats pretty much straight across the top. Screws are in. The R is hidden. And the cutout bit is on the right. Okay.
Brilliant.
So let's. That takes us on to stage 2.
Step 2, yeah. Okie doke. So locate the 3 fixes. So yeah, we're going to need the chassis back for this.
Yep. If you hear me groaning, you know it's because I'm picking up the chassis. No, it is honestly heavy.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, just the few little parts I have now are heavy,
Exactly.
so I can imagine.
And it's also quite sizable as well, which it's becoming a problem on its size.
Yeah.
It's just so big. But I think it's pretty much reaching its maximum length. It's not far off. So, sorry, carry on, please.
Okay, yeah, so locate the 3 fixing points for the right front wheel arch on the subframe. And then they're obviously circled in red. Identify the screw holes on the wheel arch and then fix it in place with 3 GM screws.
Okie dokie. So, here is my chassis. I might just turn that off. Yeah. Sorry, let me just readjust my light. So, there is my 3 fixing points. That's weird. No, that's gone further. That's why I can't find them. Right, so there we go. So we've got 2 at the rear, just behind the wheel. And then we've got 1 there sticking out. next to the wheel, and the fixing points will be, there's two at the, oh, let me pull that up. Right, two at the back on the, actually this is a completely different shape, which of course it will be because the driver's cab is going on this side. So it will be a completely different shape. So we've got a hole there that's going to be quite awkward to get to by comparison to last week. Another one on this side, and then this one on the side. I think where those, yeah. So they look like they're gonna be very simple to put in. Yeah, couldn't be simpler. You've got a little sticky out bit there. It kind of acts as a guide. Sorry, I'm trying to bounce the light off in the right way. There we are. It's actually missed little bits of paint, but I think that's just where the machine was holding it. But there is a sticky out bit there, and then what that will do is you can just rest that. See that? I'm there. I'm just resting it. If you can see that coming in there. And then you just place that down and then line up, and it will actually go into that hole there, and it'll actually lock into place.
Right.
Okay. So, and we said we were going to fix those with GM screws.
GM screws, yeah.
Okay. So, oops. So, one screw, one little bit of washing up liquid, and let me just make sure I've got that lined up, which I think I have. So I'll do this one first because that's going to be the most difficult one to get to. Sorry, I'm going to end up... I'll tell you what, I'm going to be honest with you. I found a situation where this screwdriver isn't awesome.
Oh.
It's struggling to get in there. So I'm going to have to go back. This isn't the Routemasters screwdriver, but I'm going for a long screwdriver. So I'm sorry, guys. I'll see if it's any easier now I've got that. Oh, yeah. Once you've got it in, actually. Oh, do you know what? I've got the light up, so there we go. So because it's quite an awkward position, and this has got this bit there. Once it's in, it's actually okay to get. And that will go in fine. I'm not going to do it fully until I've got all three screws in. But the other screws will go in fine. There's plenty of room for the other screws. So, yeah, you may find it easier to have the Routemasters screwdriver ready. And we'll put the second one in. Go there in nice. And last GM, which will go in the front. And I've left that one for last because it's going to kind of semi-lock in, so it's not going to run away on its own. So that goes in beautiful. Needs just a little bit of force to get it in, but not too much. There we go, that's in, and I'll just go back to the first one. Oh, it's the screwdriver that's... Well, I've got the webcam quite close so you can see. There we go. Oh, that's really solid just with two screws. There we go. And that's that done. Yeah, so that's it. Let me just check. There isn't a third stage, is there? Oh, there is a third stage.
It's just pointing out where the screws are by the looks.
Right. Okay. So what you've got there, do you mind if I show it rather than we bring it up?
Yes, up
Well,
to you.
actually, we can bring it up. Look. So what it's doing there is highlighting where those three screws are. So stage 3 is in effect, it's just an extension of stage 2, but it will show you what it looks like, and it's really starting to build it up now. So could you do me a favor and can you just hover your mouse over the 3 red circles so that everybody can see them?
Yeah, so we got that one there,
Yeah.
got that one there, and then this one here.
Okay. And the first one that actually Horlicks has just highlighted those in the order that I've put them in today. So
Yeah,
what I
1,
will
2,
do,
3.
yeah, right. So what I'll do is I'll try and play this camera angle a bit, so you can start to get a look at the. Again, my quality isn't too good, but this is the wheel arch that we've put in today. This is the one that we put in last week, and of course they're going to be different because this one's got the bonnet going over, and this one will have the driver's cab. And now I'm starting to look at that and think, well, actually, the driver hasn't got that much room, has he? So compact and bijou, I think, might be an appropriate word. So I'm just going to have a quick check of my. Thought I broke a bit off. Oh, that reminds me. Actually, there's a couple. I want to go through. Remind me later on. I want to go through these parts. I know some people have been having trouble with them. But yeah, that's the issue finished. Let me see if I can get a slightly more front view. It's going to be hard, but we're upside down there, aren't we? So there we go. That's. Oh, hang on. I've got to remember this is all back to front, isn't it? So I'm just waiting for the actual broadcast. No, I did have it the right way back. No, that's right. So that's what it's going to look like now. I'm a little bit concerned about these wires. However, I won't know if they're in the right place until we actually fit the front.
Yeah.
I did see a comment on Facebook about, oh, what, no wiring. So I wonder what's happening with that. But I can't see any small holes. Let me, if I get this, let me get something. I'm after a prop of some description. Here we go. Small cardboard box. I don't want to place the engine on the floor. Right. So what I've just noticed is last week. Come on. There we are. Right. So just there's a hole where the wires come through. As we put the wheel arch on, we clamp the wires in there. Some people I notice have been feeding the wires through, but basically you'll create that hole as you put the wheel arch on. Now, on this week's wheel arch, there's a square bit there, which I'm going to guess is where the wiring might come through for the other headlight. And there's 2 lights, isn't there? There's one just above the bonnet, and there's obviously the headlight. So I guess there'll be 2 LEDs coming through. But I'm guessing that will come through there. So there looks like there's going to be plenty of room. And doing the check that we did last week, going back to this wheel arch, let's have a look. Oops. Right, so there's a screw hole there. And another one there. So we're now going to be able to see where the parts are going to go. And right. So yeah, that's it. So what did everybody think? Put Paul, you said that last week, didn't you, that you suspected the front wheels would have to be removed? I seem to remember, or someone did. Do you want to chat about this week's build first, or do you want to have a look at next week? Because you're going to laugh at next week, actually. So I noticed that Horlicks has just brought it up. Ready. Let's look at next week's, and then we can sort of speculate then. So that's a picture of next week, and the instructions say, or the description says, the fuel tank and fuel filler with cap are fitted together with safety bars along either side of the subframe, which I discussed this with Horlicks earlier on. I find that last bit quite interesting. We're fitting the safety bars along either side of the subframe, and they haven't given us a very big picture to go on. All we've got there is what I suspect is the fuel filler cap. What do you think?
That's what it looks like. I can't quite see. Oh, I suppose that's on the top of the chassis, so I assume. I don't actually know where is the filler on a Routemasters. Is it on the side?
It's on the driver's side, about halfway down. So
that pitch doesn't really look like it's making any sense for that.
So that's where that looks like it's where the fuel filler cap is, which is odd because it's I always thought they were on the other side. Is that right? Yeah, that is the fuel filler cap. So it's gonna be roughly here.
Right, I see. So then obviously the outside frame will obviously just go round that in like an opening.
And I think fuel tank goes underneath there. I may be wrong. It could be all one part, but it looks to me like it's going to be 3 parts because.
Yeah, I think they're going to make
you can see 3 screws there, but you can also, I think it might even be 4 parts.
Yeah, I think so. It's going to make us actually build that. It's going to make us put the cap on it and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So that will be similar to the little. I can't remember where it is now, and I've lost it. There we go. The oil filler cap at the front. If you can remember this bit there. You know where we pop the screw in?
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be that sort of principle, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'm guessing that.
Oh, safety bars to stop anyone or anything from going under the bus. So they're going into the wheel arches then, are they? No, they're going... they're going along the side under the bus. Yeah, that's right. So, I've just noticed something on my build. I think I've trapped a wiring wrong. But no, right, I'm going to change my camera angle. Right, there we go. So, so it looks like it could be a technical, quite a technical build next week. If we've got some safety bars going in, I'm also frantically looking for my little list to make sure it is actually the safety, not that it is actually the fuel tank, because this would be the 3rd time they've told us it's fuel tank now, won't they?
Yeah, that's interesting. That is. There's only so many fuel tanks we can have.
Yeah. So there's actually it is. We're 3rd time lucky, I think. So there's our little list. So issue 33, fit in the right front wheel arch. Issue 34, fuel tank, fuel filler, and safety bars. So you're going to miss that, aren't you?
Oh no.
Should we call the whole show off next week and we'll do a double build the week after?
Yeah, I think we might have to. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, the whole world's going to be on hold for Horlicks.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me. It's like that at work at before having my holiday up, I felt like I was doing everything. It seems it's just
Yeah. But I'm liking the way that if you look at this from a subscriber's point of view, you're getting a really good and a slower issue, all within within 4 issues. Possibly with the exception of the part that you're up to now. Although those discs were quite technical, weren't they?
Yeah.
But then you got to wheels and tires,
Yeah.
which I thought were quite slow. And by the time you've done because you haven't done the back wheels yet, have you?
No. No.
Although you'll take a break and then do the back wheels. If
The
you're
chassis
anything
comes
like
first,
me,
doesn't it?
I believe so. Yes, and then I remember parts 12 and 13 will extend the chassis, or are they before the chassis? I can't even remember.
Well, that's a good thing, really, because even though obviously I've been following you every step of the way and doing the show, I know what's to come, but it's got to a stage now where I've actually forgotten what my next issues are.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was expecting, like, because I got 7 to 10 last time, I was expecting the chassis then, and I forgot about the wheels. And then when I got the wheels, I was like, oh yeah, of course. So I still don't know what's to come, like in what order now, which is nice in a
Yeah.
way. It's
I
a
mean,
surprise.
I can go through all the titles of the magazines if you want, to see maybe jog our memories. But like I say, this week I'm gonna use the word slower issue. Last week was okay. We had that fog lamp that made it a bit technical. The week before that, we had two wheel arches, so we had quite a lot to do in the last between the 3 issues. And I think issue 34 will be the next subscription delivery for us. Does that sound about right? Is there any other subscribers watching? Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Teddy Connor was saying issue 35 and 36 is the same. 35 and 36 is the floor of the driver's cabin, the handbrake, part 1 and part 2. So, yeah, I noticed that, Chris. Issue 33 isn't on the website. And I noticed that they're also selling out very, very quickly. Also, Alec Rooney has said, can you add passengers later on? That I don't know. And I keep meaning to ring Hachette because it seems that they know more about this now than they used to. They seem to know when it first came out, customer services seemed to know very, very little. Whereas they seem to. I'll come back to that, Paul. Yeah. Do you know what? This is something I made a comment on earlier. Just take another mouthful of tea. You know what's coming. Just take another mouthful. Don't you think he looks like a dwarf with that mug? Alex in Wonderland.
Here's the size of my head.
I think that's brilliant. That's fantastic. So yeah, I think we're due our subscriptions end of next week after the issue comes out. So in the 4 issues, we've got whatever comes next week, which I think looks like it's going to be more technical than this week. But if you take any block of 4 issues, any block of 4 issues, you've got a little bit for everyone. There you go. That's a better way of putting it, isn't it? A little bit for everyone. So, sorry, I'm just going to do a quick tighten up on my chassis. I've just noticed it's gone loose again. You've gone muted, Horlicks. Is there a reason?
I'm trying to talk even though it's mute. Yeah, because I was sucking on my e-cigarette. I didn't want it to blast
Oh,
down the microphone.
that's fair. Right. So what I've just noticed is on my chassis, there's a little bit of a. I don't know if the screws are loosening or, but I think I really need a support on there until we get the bodywork in. But I'll try and give it a tighten.
Maybe it'd be a good idea to get some thread lock.
Oh yeah, we've mentioned that before, haven't
Yeah,
we?
we did look
Well,
into it. I'm not sure. I think that'd be a good idea because obviously all the time you're moving it, it's gonna
yeah.
keep
I
moving.
I
So
think the screws are working loose as I pick it up because
yeah,
I've just managed to get about an eighth of a turn on those, and now that's solid.
solid. So with thread lock, it'll stop that rattling loose.
Yeah, I
But you
think.
can still undo them if you need to later on.
Right. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Fighter Sweep. I was supposed to look at the front wheels, wasn't I? And oh, now it's harder and harder because I've gone and put the. I think. Let me get my box, which I've lost my box I just had. Can you believe that? Right. So I'm really struggling on how to pick this up. Because obviously if you pick it up wrong, it's getting to the point now where you lose bits. Right, so my theory on the loose front wheels is that it's not so much the wheel as if you watch Horlicks' latest video, where he's done his second wheel, you've got the two little bits that connect the wheel with the suspension, and I actually think it's those. Because one thing that I realized was I didn't have this fancy screwdriver when I did the wheels, and I can now confirm that I've managed to get quite a lot of turn on that. So I actually think it's these. Let me get the magazine.
I'm just looking at
What's it?
mine.
Issue 9. Sorry, which one?
I'm just looking at my suspension, and I've hardly got any play in those.
Yeah.
But I've still got quite a little bit of wobble on the wheels. But as I say, I mean, I whacked in 4 metal washers instead of that plastic one, and it's made it a little bit better. But I've also coated it in washing up liquid to make them spin nicely.
Yeah, because also what we're also, I'll use the word suffering. There's a little bit of we didn't know things then that we know now. You know, like for example, this screwdriver. When I assembled my wheels, I'm pretty sure I did that with the Chinesium Routemasters screwdriver. Right, so I've got issue 9 and issue 10. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the Routemaster away for the night. It's going to give me more room on the desk. And I can't reach because I've got the headphones around my neck. So, right, there we go. That's safely on. I have to put the, I don't know if you can see it. It's getting quite amusing now. The bus has to go on the shelf. There you go, at an angle. Because I can't get it on, well, I can get it on straight across, but I can't get it face up. But I want to try and avoid having it straight across. So, right, let me quickly change that camera angle so it doesn't look so scruffy in my room. Right, so issue 9 and issue 10. What we're blaming it on so far is the inside of this, where it's locking onto that, and that's causing a wobble wheel. What I actually think the problem is, yeah, I think Teddy, I think that it is mainly down to that spindle, but I think what's contributing, there we go. So we've got the part C and part B I'm wondering if those FM screws aren't tight enough. And I've just managed to get my screwdriver into one of them, and I'm able to get more on. But I also watched your video today, and I noticed that what you're doing is you're screwing the screw in, and then you're kind of twisting it to sort of bed it in, and then you keep checking it and tightening it again. So and I wonder if that's helping.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean it's difficult because I did mine tight, but then it doesn't turn, like the wheel doesn't turn very smoothly. So then I
Right.
found myself, yeah, loosening it off a bit. Then I was moving it, and then I tightened it up a bit, and I kept doing that because I wanted nice movement. Because if you
Yeah.
screw them down too tight, you won't have any movement. Because that's where the wheel pivots on.
Yeah. See, the problem is you've got to get them tight to hold them in, but
Yeah,
you've also got to keep them loose to allow movement. So you've got to find um
sort of medium ground with it. Yeah, it's
yeah.
difficult. But I mean, I haven't got much movement in mine at all. It's just all, as Teddy said, mine is coming from, well, looks to be the spindle. I mean, so I put 4 metal washers in instead of a plastic one that they supplied.
Yeah.
Doubled the thickness of it because 2 metal washers is the same thickness as the plastic one that they supplied. Then
Yeah.
I added another 2, and it has improved it a little bit. It's not as bad, but it's still there. But
Yeah.
you know what? I'm more than happy with it. It's
Yeah.
so much better than the DeLorean wheels. Honestly, 1,000%.
Yeah. Well, Fighter Sweeper said what pretty much what I was about to say, which is it seems like we've all had the same problems in that area. So it's pointless contacting Hachette and saying, "Can we have a replacement?" Because it looks like it's all going to be the same for everybody.
Yeah,
So if it was 10% of us had that issue, then I would say, yeah, send it back. But it looks like we've all got the same issue. Don't add metal. Teddy Connor says, don't add metal washers. You need a collar over the spindle. Yeah, to make the spindle a bit wider. I mean, obviously, I've got work and stuff and all sorts of things. You won't believe I work and everything. Excuse me. But I'm trying to look into, trying to sort of, obviously, if anyone else is working on things, brilliant.
we do. We
But
need
yeah,
like a perfect fit sort of collar, like
yeah.
a metal one. But I just don't. I just can't think of anything we could use that's.
Well, the best I can manage right now is 3D printing something, but I wonder if the filament
Oh,
that I'm using is going to be strong enough.
I've just had a
Oh,
brilliant idea, Penny. Might not work. I'm just looking at this cheap paintbrush, and it's
yeah,
got the metal on it. If we take the handle off,
yeah,
we might have a collar there.
we might well do. That's going to be worth investigating, isn't it?
And these are like pound shop. I could, yeah, get that out
Yeah.
somehow.
I seem to remember buying like a pack of those from the pound shop. You get like 10 or 20 in a pack for £1.
I mean, it might not be the
Uh,
right size, but you get my drift. Or
yeah,
even like I've got these nice brushes that I got, and they're all in different sizes, and they've obviously got different size collars.
yeah,
So we could maybe change that, cut that down, slip that on, find the perfect size.
yeah.
Maybe.
Teddy's also said try a bit of insulation tape to try the theory out, which is really good. I mean, obviously, insulation tape isn't going to hold for a permanent measure,
Didn't
but it'll
you
be good
tried that
enough.
last week, didn't you, Penny?
Um, yes, we did, didn't we?
And it didn't.
Yeah, I put
It,
a bit of masking tape over it.
hmm. But obviously,
Wow.
it's catch-22, isn't it? Because if you use electrical tape, yes, it would work, but obviously, if you move the bus a lot or spin the wheels, that's going to slowly eat away, make a mess, and it's just going to go wobbly again.
Yeah.
But if
But
it's a model sitting on the shelf,
yeah.
they don't need to be
Yeah.
solid.
I think what Teddy's trying to say is that if you make a part or you go around cutting stuff and you put a lot of effort in and it doesn't work, installation tape would have identified that. If you can't do it with installation tape, yeah, it's just to rule out the cause. So you put the masking tape on. If it then fits, but then breaks as you move it, then we can say, right, yeah, that's going to fix it. Let's see what we can make out of metal or something that's harder wearing. You've gone quiet.
Me?
You're thinking.
No, so I've just seen something that's made me tickle. So yeah.
Go on, go on. If
I
it's
can't.
made you
No, I
tick.
can't. I can't say anything. But no, yeah. I think yeah, it's just one of those things. I think it'll be all right. Well, once it's
Yeah.
on the shelf, and
Yeah, I mean, yeah, ultimately, I'm not bothered because it's not a toy that I'm going to play with. But obviously, I'm always going to take the chance to see maybe if we can make it just a little bit better. So yeah. So has anyone got any other issues? We're actually sort of trying to rush slightly because Horlicks has got to go round about 9ish today. He has important things to do. That's what happens when you have a holiday, isn't it?
yeah,
And I got to be honest with you, I'm not. I certainly don't want this to run till about 11 today because I've got an early week this week. Everything's early, and I was start 5:55. I went in today, and it's like, oh, too early. So there was something I was going to say, and I can't remember what it was. Chris Campling, how are you getting on with your 3D printer?
yes. I was
Have-
going to mention that. I am gagging for the next episode. Where is it?
yeah, yeah, I'm gagging for his first print actually
What I would
because
really like to see, I mean, I don't know whether it's possible for Chris because I know he works and things, but I'd love to see the final episode and then go straight into doing some sort of test print. That's what I'm
yeah,
gagging to see.
yeah, because I mean obviously it's great for me because well, I'll tell you what, I'll pull it out. This is my Builder 3D printer, and I'm only up to pack 2. And then obviously I got such a good deal on this printer that I stopped. It's pointless me carrying on. £35 a month for another 10 months, which is 350 quid, when my whole entire printer cost me £300.
Are you
So,
tempted to start it up again to finish it and have two on the go, or are you reserving judgment till you've seen some others, like Chris's?
I'm reserving judgment because I've had the problems with my printer, which I've fixed, and I've had to fix it by chucking extra money at it. You've had the issue with, although it wasn't the same 3D printer, you've had issues with a build your own 3D
Yeah,
printer part work, which you've then had to fix by spending money. Um,
yeah, it's completely different. Mine is, yeah, it's an absolute completely different design now.
yeah.
I've, I've drilled
So
holes in it and fixed things where they shouldn't be, and I'm
yeah.
now getting a very good print on it. But
I mean,
yeah,
I like I like the idea that the Chris Campling's one has got an enclosure. So does that mean that perhaps he could use it for ABS?
no,
No. Okay.
because it hasn't got a heated bed.
Right.
That's
Okay.
really important. But he could add one. I can't see why he
Right.
couldn't add one. I mean,
Yeah.
you'd have to look into it, obviously, with the acrylic. I mean, I don't know what the melting temperature is, or what the heat threshold is of acrylic.
Yeah.
Um, but if it could withstand sort of 100 degrees,
Yeah.
then it'll probably start drooping. I don't know. I don't know. But no. His would just be PLA.
Yeah. But I mean, you say about me waiting. Yeah, I'm being a bit naughty. I'm waiting for Chris's. Um, if Chris's comes out as, oh, this is absolutely fantastic, you must have it, I'll be like, oh no, I wish I'd carried on, and then I'll probably carry on with it. But I suspect mine is going to be my only printer for a while. And if I did need another printer, knowing what I know with my printer, I would actually go for mine again. Although, can I change the subject onto 3D printing? I've been looking at a 3D printer for someone else. Um, Same brand as mine, but it's the Ender 3, and it's cheaper than mine, but it seems to run off the same parts as mine, and it's got a smaller bed than mine, but it's got a bigger bed than most of the beds seem to be about 100 by 100. I think this one's about 250, and it looks okay, um, but it looks like same problems with mine. It'll print straight out of the box, but you're going to need to replace some bits before they go, which looks like quite a nice little cheap printer if you know what you're getting into. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, but like I said, I've had real headaches with mine. And it's a case of if I bought this printer again, I would know exactly what to do. And although the purchase price is £300, I wouldn't buy another one until I had at least 400 to £450. I honestly believe that now that I've put the upgrades on, I think I've got like a £600 printer for 450 quid. But it's just a headache and of doing it. And then of course you've got the prints that you've got to print off to improve the printer. So, for example, I've got the overhead spool holder, so it sits on the top, and then I've got the framework to lift the bed to lift the box up, because you've got the cooling fan for the actual box underneath, but it's only got a ground clearance of about that much. So you want to lift it up to make that fan more effective. Um, oh, right, sorry, yeah, so I just got a message come through, and um, sorry, I've just lost where I am now. I've got too many windows come up on my computer. Um, but yeah, I mean, well, you've done the same as well. We're both now publishing 3D print videos.
Mm.
I've actually gone one step ahead, and I've got an Octopi, Raspberry Pi, which enables me to bring more. At the most basic level, it turns my printer into a 3D enabled Wi-Fi enabled printer, but it also enables me to add on little extras. So, in fact, I'll tell you what, if you don't object, I'll show you. Just pull it up. Don't know if this will be useful for Chris Campling.
Yeah, it's certainly a really good idea. I mean, I didn't know anything about it, so I've learned something. But I think for me, it's not for me. But I use obviously just SD cards, and that's just
Yeah.
the,
So what I do now is when I've done a print, I'll send it to this program which is called Octopi. So you can see there I've got a list of these are files. So if you're printing, I mean, obviously, if you're printing the same file over and over again, you'll just keep it on the SD card and don't delete it. But this is actually stored on the actual Octopi, not on an SD card. So these are prints that I've been doing. I've got things like it tells me how much the print is going to cost and how long it's going to take. It's not that accurate, but it gives you a good idea. So some paint racks that I've just been printing off. They've cost me 37 pence, and they're about 2 hours to print. I can control temperature by this dialogue here, so that enables me to keep an eye on things. Obviously, as you can see, it's all switched off at the moment. I can also control my printer, so I can move the axis around. I can move the Z axis up. I can do extrude. So if I'm doing a nozzle clean, I can apply the heat, and then I can extrude some filament. And these 5 buttons here are for bed leveling, and it moves the nozzle to the exact correct place for bed leveling. This is one of my favorites. This watches my what's called G code. So you have it obviously it's not doing anything at the moment, but when you're printing, this whole screen starts off as white, and then as it prints the layer, it fills it in, it colors it all in as it prints it. And then when it gets to the end of the layer, it then moves to the next layer, and then the next layer, and the next, and the next, and so on and so forth. So you can actually check to see if you see a bit of, say it's printing, and it's quite scruffy on the print, and then you check the G code viewer, and you can go, yeah, it looks scruffy because it hasn't printed that bit yet.
Yeah.
And then I don't actually use that like that. Right. You've got a thing called Octalapse, which takes a picture every so many seconds. And this is the setup screen. Have I shown you any of my time-lapse pictures? Pull one up if you want. Can you put more than one print on the card? Yes, you can. You can. Right. The print that I've got pulled up at the moment, the paint rack, it's I don't know if you can see where my mouse key is now. It's 4.1 megabytes. Your SD card is restricted by the size of the SD card.
Yeah.
So if you've got a 4.1 megabyte SD card, then you will only get the one file on it. If you've got a trillion gigabyte SD card, then obviously you can get a quarter of a trillion. Yeah, loads. Yeah,
I
loads.
use 2 4 gig cards, but I mean, to be honest, an STL file isn't that big, really that big anyway. So I could get hundreds of prints, but I mean, obviously most of the stuff I print, I only need to do once. So I use it, load the card up. Then when I go to do another print, I have a clean up, delete the files I don't need, and then start again.
Well, what I tend to do is in the root directory, I've got things that I may only be printing once. And then you see I've got 2 directories there. So I've got one called Citadel, and there's 2 files on here. And these will print off my my Citadel paint racks. And then I've got another one here, paint rack, which is some different paint racks that I'm printing. So I keep those there, and they're tidy. So you know they're nice sitting there.
In answer to Teddy Connor's question, can you print 3D figures? If you can imagine it, you can print it.
That's pretty much sums it up. Yeah. And there's also things that you can print on the 3D printer that are absolutely impossible in anything else. Did I show you that bearing last week? It's a little circle with, that's impossible to make because you can't put the bearing, because of the shape of the actual cogs. It's impossible to place it in the outer and inner rings because the printer prints it from the side and builds it up, and it actually prints it fused, and then you have to unfuse it by actually rotating it. So that you cannot make that out of metal. This screen here is terminal. It's for input and commands, and you've got things called G codes. If I put like G200 or something, X200, it'll make the nozzle move. I don't understand it that much, but it's there if I need it. I can't set this up yet, but I can actually set this up so that every time I print, it automatically broadcasts it to YouTube. And apparently there's another one that I can automatically broadcast it to Twitch, but I haven't figured out how to use those yet. So that may be coming soon. I am saving the best one to last. Webcam is just enables me to look at my printer. So that's helpful for when I'm adjusting the camera for a print. And the last one, and this is handy, this records all of my prints that I do, and then it tells me success rates. So in the last week, you can see that I'm running at a 74% success rate. But a failure is anything that hasn't completed. So there's been a few. Yeah, I wonder if you were getting to that, Teddy. But I am actually. There's a lot of things I'm looking into, but I'm not telling people that I'm looking into them in case they're unsuccessful. Um, yeah, so these some of these failed prints are just simply where I've printed something maybe to test it, or I've gone, oh no, I've put the wrong filament in, cancel the print. Although I can delete them, and you get this nice little graph. It's just useful that you can see that I've not had an unsuccessful print for 5 days, and then 2, 3, 4, 6 days ago I couldn't get. Well, I only had one print, but it was a failure. Um, and then you can get extra, and the add-ons are so easy to put on. I don't know if I've got the right one there. There we go. Right, plugin manager. So this is all the plugins that you can get, and there's absolutely loads of them. Some are more useful to others than some I won't use. So yeah, there's so much you can do with it, and all you need to do is just buy a Raspberry Pi with it. But primarily, Raspberry Pi is it turns into a Wi-Fi printer. So let me see if I can find this. Lost my cursor now. There we go. Should come back to me. There we go. Right, I can't remember where I've done the prints now. Oh, don't you hate when this happens? Oh, videos. Sorry, guys. I can't remember the directory. It pulls the files down to. Time lapse. Let's download one then.
Okay then. Right. Well, I've said my goodbyes in the chat.
Yeah, no problems.
So
Yeah, you've got to run off, have you?
you take care, Penny, and I'll speak to
Yeah.
you probably. Well, I'll speak to you before I go away anyway. But thanks
Yeah.
for having me on, and
No problems.
yeah, take care, and I'll speak to you later on.
Yeah, no worries. You have a good holiday.
Okay. Thank you. See you later, everyone.
I'm just pulling up a video now. So this is one that I printed yesterday. It's a lithograph, and what just for the benefit of those that don't know, a lithograph is it converts a photo into a print. But what it does is where the lighter parts are, it prints the plastic much thinner, and then where it's darker, it prints it much thicker. So you get the effect of a black and white printer. But this is it printing, and I turn the light on later on, and it really shows it off better. So I don't know if that's going too quickly for you. So I don't know if you can see it. It's printing it thick and thin, but in a moment you'll see the light come in, and then you'll really get to see what the picture's like. There you go. So then when the light goes out, you can see the picture. and I was really rather impressed with that. It wasn't as good as it can be. There's still settings to play with, but it's got so much potential there. So yeah, it's I think there's a lot we can do. Figures I'm not so sure about at the moment. But if I can find some figures, I'm still learning to play with editing software. But if I can find something where I can learn how to edit, maybe I can get, like, for example, if I got a soldier and then I adapted the soldier, maybe take the helmet off and put a hat on or whatever. As long as we can get the right size, if I can then adjust the clothing, and then I can reposition them so I can have some people standing up like this and other people sitting down, maybe reading a newspaper. And then we can get multi-positional figures. And if they're easy enough to edit, we might even be able to sort of get people to say, oh, well, I'd like a person to be doing this. So I say, right, well, tell them. And then that figure becomes freely available for everyone. And I think we worked out the figures are going to be about that big. Just trying to think. 6. Let's take an average person at being 6 foot tall, which is I might have my figures wrong. Multiply that by 12, so that's 72 inches. Divide that by 12, so that's 6 inches. Does that sound about right? And 6 inches it's about the length of the screwdriver without any heads in. So it's roughly the size of my hand. So does that sound about right? 6 inches for a 1 to 12 scale figure? That seems a bit like it's going to be really big. Actually, no, I don't think it's going to be that big. I don't know if you can see. But if you see just up in the corner there, there's the wheel. If I put this next to the wheel will come up to about waist height. So yeah, I think that's about right, isn't it? So yeah, all we need to do is get some kind of figure, and then scale it. If it's the wrong scale, then all we've got to do is just, if we got a 3-inch figure, all we have to do is print it at 200% size. 6 inches high, right? Okay, so yeah, bloody hell, though. I mean, obviously, right, when we say it's a 1 to 12 scale model, and we know the dimensions of the model, but at the end of the day, they're just numbers. Everybody can picture in their mind what a human being looks like because we see them all the time. When we now say 6 inches, that's massive. That really is. I mean, here's something that you've probably all played with. Well, these are a little bit small, but these are some cheap toy soldiers. These are about average size, but these are only about 1 inch high. Yeah, they're just over 1 inch high. So what we're looking at, that's half of a figure, and that's getting big. Wow, that's amazing. That is. But yeah, I think because we can just get something and scale it, I reckon there's something already existing out there. If someone has, for example, if someone has designed a 3D file for the 1 to 24 scale Revel bus, of passengers and staff, then all we've got to do is just take that as it is and just double the size of it, and we're done. If we can just there must be some train figures out there, for railway scenery. Again, if their HO scale is 1 to 72 scale, isn't it, roughly? So we'd have to just take it from that size to that. Yeah, I think that's doable. To be honest with you, I think the DeLorean is more than doable. Shall we have a look? It's a really nice way, actually, of combining 3D print with right. So this is my main go-to site. There's about 5 different sites for 3D print files. Sorry, I haven't changed the and I do apologize. Sometimes my computer's really slow while I'm broadcasting. So think of some. But you see, we're talking about making them here, Dave. Because if we make them, we can make them do whatever we want. Right. So let's look for. Right. Let's go the obvious. Us passengers. Right, okay, that's no good. Right, so we've got passenger tokens. That's not really what we're after. Okay, looks like that's not going to come up with any good results. So let's try people. Right, there we go. Right, okay. There you go. Bingo. I think we've got him. Oh, we've got a winner, look. Right. So let's download that. I think we've got it now. So show in folder. Sorry, I'm going to keep this tidy because I do like to keep my my files all in the right place. So 3D printing, and we're going to paste that. Sorry, I'll do it down here so you can see what I'm doing. So I now need to extract that. Oh, hang on. Yeah, right. So I need to extract that. Right. So we've got in there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 figures. So if I open up my slicing software, so again, this is going to take a minute or two, but I'm kind of confident we're there. Could someone do a conversion for me? Can someone convert 6 inches to millimeters, please? Right, so this is the software that I use for slicing. Slicing is a term meaning converting an image to 3D printable file. Right, so scale model people. So let's have man standing number 6. Right, so there's our guy. So his height at the moment is, I've lost my mouse. Right. So we want 152 millimeters. So at the moment he's actually too big. If I change that to 152, there you go. I've got that now. That's 1 to 12 scale. And that would take, these are only estimates. Right, that will take just over 3 hours to print at a cost of 61 pence. It'll come out quite rough, but yeah, it's a good start, isn't it? Let's have a look at the others. Oh, that's a rather large man there compared to the others. Oh, let's move him out of the way because we've looked at him. Move. Right. So let's move these out of the way until we look at them. So we've got 3 people sitting, sorry. So let's zoom into that one. So would she do? That's not going to help, is it? The red bits is bits where it needs support. So there's the one. Whoa! I've just gone in close. No, I've gone out. Trying to go out. Oh, it's because that man. I'm going to get rid of that man because he's just getting in the way, and we've looked at him. So that's the woman. So this looks like a man reading the newspaper. And he's bald, which means that you can modify, do a bit of work on him, you can put your own hair on him. Oh, my chat's gone. Sorry, guys, I can't. Oh, right, I've got it. But yeah, I mean, this is 5 minutes of tinkering. Oh, actually, these are brilliant because some of these are more mannequin than anything else. That looks like a man walking. But yeah, that man reading the paper looks good, doesn't it? Young person by looks of things. Oh, oh, where you gone? Where you gone? There we go. So what I'll do is I will probably print those off. It won't be anytime soon. I've just done something strange there. Don't know what I've done. Help. Okay, I've lost control of my printer. Right. Okay. So newspaper. I mean, newspapers are going to be quite easy to do because they'll just be. I mean, you can make them out of newspapers. Right. Okay. I'm going to have to stop that because I kind of lost control of it there. Not really sure what I'm doing anymore. Let's close that down. So yeah, it's. I mean, that was just a quick. So actually, I'll carry on looking. We might get something else. Sometimes it's just a case of how you look for things. Sometimes if you put strange things into the search terms, right, where's, that's not it. Right. Right, so let's look. Let's look up Marty. Here we go, look. Marty McFly. We've got another model there. And we've got a character bust there. We got a Back to the Future hoverboard. So it's all there. Um, Teddy, if it's not the right scale, you make it the right scale. Remember what we just did with that figure? We just changed the size of it. Um, that first figure was actually too big. It was like 170 mil, so we just changed it to 152 mil. Yeah, you just literally resize them. So yeah, we can actually have a look at that closer if you want to have a look. One of the great things about this is if you click this button here, where it says thingy view, it actually brings it in as a model. It is load. I'm sorry, it does take a while to load. But I won't mention names just in case they don't want to be mentioned. But I was talking to someone that a couple of days ago about you can get Warhammer 40,000 stuff on there, and they obviously went away and had a search, and then they sent me a message going, "There's hundreds of them on there." I'm like, "Yeah," and it's possible to make stuff by I don't think that's going to load up. That's taken a lot longer than usual. But yeah, if you've got an actual figure, you can just take photos of it and make a model from that. Back to the Future. So you got loads of Back to the Future stuff there. I don't know if any of that is usable for you, Back to the Future guys. There we go, Doc Emmett Brown. Is that any good to you? Because one of the things I'm looking at, I'd really like to do that R2D2. But I haven't really got the money with the other builds. There's a load of other stuff coming out. But also with me I'm now going to start playing with electronics and things. It's going to take me a while to get up to scratch, but I found this. I think it's this one, and as you can see, it comes in part form. So I wondered if I printed this off and then put my own electronics in it, do you think I could print? It won't be the same as the part work one, but you know I could put some motors in there and wheels and lights and um, things that make whistles and bell noises, and print my own off. That tubing there, that looks remarkably like the tubing that we get for the mains cables, and they're all bits that have been printed off with different colours. So that leg, for example, that you see, where is it? Where's it gone? There we go. That leg, that's not one piece. That's two, three. There's probably about 10 different pieces there. But you can see that you've got cogs and things. If you put motors in it, I wonder if I could make not as good as the R2D2 from D'Agostini, but I think I could probably come up with a long-term project. So it's just something I was thinking about, because the actual I'll show you it. It's I'm very new to this, but it's something called Arduino, is it? It's called, and I bought one last week, and just going to change the camera setting. This is basically the main processor. You seem to be having trouble with the focus. I'm going to take the autofocus. Right, there we are. So we've basically got a circuit board there Now I can power it from a USB, or I can power it from an actual power, like, and I've got a battery connector there. So I'm pretty sure I could use this to control everything in an R2D2. And this, well, it wasn't this. Let me show you the whole kit that I got. This is Uno R3 starter kit, ultimate starter kit, and it comes with about 14 different projects, and you get all of this with it. You get transistors, LEDs, motors, power cables, and a little breadboard. So so as a start, but I'm pretty sure this was about £14. So obviously all the little components who I'm going to get for pennies. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I could put something together. I've even got a temperature sensor in here, so maybe I could put it to measure the temperature, and then when it gets too cold, R2D2 could go, Penny, turn on the heating, it's cold. Or maybe even I could get the R2D2 to put the heating on because it's cold. So yeah, we have possibilities there. I think what I'll do, I won't promise you I'll get it done this week, but I'll print some of those figures off. My printer isn't the best it can be at the moment. I'm still improving it. It's way better than it was a few weeks ago. But it's just there's one more upgrade I want to get, which is a better auto bed leveling sensor. What it will do is automatic. At the moment, I think I've got a warped bed heater. So whatever I do, I'm not going to get the. I've got a mirrored. See if I've got one handy. Nope. I bought probably the best and cheapest upgrade I made. Do you know what? Yeah, Alexia controlled. Oh, that's brilliant. Chris, brilliant. I'm going to have to get together with you then, because I've been using is it Arduino? Yeah, no, that was fun. That really was fun. I like that. Arduino, I've now been playing with them for less than a week. I think it was Saturday night or Sunday morning I picked it up. And what I'm planning on doing, because I do part works on a Friday on my Twitch channel, I've got 4 or 5 Fridays in a month, but I've now only got 2 part works, the Millennium Falcon and the Harley Davidson. So what I'm thinking of doing is doing one electronics project. Oh, I might also be doing the Warhammer 40k on a Friday. I know I might be doing that on a Monday. So I've got at least 2 weeks every month where I've got nothing planned. So I was going to go through the projects, and I've got to confess I did actually do the first project. I wanted to play with it, and it's a really simple project. It takes 2 minutes, and it's just to create a blinking LED light. But what it's done is it's given me an understanding of how, I mean, this thing, I didn't even know what it was for. It's a breadboard, and you plug the power in, and you kind of supply the power, and then you run cables. And I really didn't understand how it worked, and now I kind of know how it works. And obviously it's kind of a practice thing for a circuit board. And then Sunday I found out, don't laugh, love minis, I found out on Sunday that I need to practice my soldering, because I've never said I'll be good at it, but I watched a lot of YouTube videos, and I've got to the point where I was confident enough to give it a try, and I gave it a try. In fact, I'll show you what I've done. I'm actually quite pleased with this. The problem I had with the Octopi, the Pi, was when you switch it off, there's no actual way of switching it back on again other than pulling the plug and putting it back in again. And don't know if you can. Oh, sorry, guys, I've lost the camera. I'll see if I can get that back. I do apologise. Right, okay, we got it back. No, it's stuck. All right, there's obviously a loose USB cable. Very sensitive by the looks of things. Right. Right, I seem to have lost the camera now. Sorry, guys. If that's helped. Ah, I've got it back now. There we go. Right, so the actual power supply is trying to find it now. It's there. I know it's out of focus, I do, but to keep pulling that in and out. So what I've done is I've cut the cable, as you can see, my bad soldering job there, and I've run a cable through there, and you see there I've got a power switch. So all I have to do is just flick that switch. I can power it down automatically, but I can't switch on. So when I power it down, I'll just flick that switch, and then when I want to switch on, I'll just flick the switch again. And I've also, I think I showed you the plan last week. So I've just seen Love Minis. I haven't got a multimeter yet. There's an awful lot of things I haven't got. I've also printed this bit off. I've lost. Have I got my white one still? Yes. Right. So this is the old one. Oh, hang on. I've got a list of stuff just come up on the screen. Right. So this is my old case, which I've done in white. And you see you've got 3 compartments there. That's where the where the Pi sits. And this is where the power comes in. And what I've done is I've run the cable through there. I've blocked this bit up. And that's where the switch sits. So that's the switch there. And that's where it was. But I've also not cut, but I've designed a hole just there, and then another one there. If I can find it. There. Well, basically on the inside. So instead of winding the cable round there, it now goes into there and then winds round inside and then comes out and then plugs. And you see the cable poking out there, the little blue one. So it's a lot neater, and I've still got a space to put my tools. Sorry, yeah, I'll keep the camera still. But yeah, no, Chris, you say about the projects getting more complicated. That's what I want. The first project that I've tried out, which I will be doing on a stream, it's so easy, but what it's essentially taught me is how to use a breadboard, which is obviously I'm still walking, but you've got to walk before you can run. Some of the other projects, to be honest with you, they're all start ones and they all look pretty simple. Obviously, you start off by plugging in an LED. If you then replace that LED with a fan, that's a different project, but the basis is the same, isn't it? Then perhaps you can attach a switch, and then perhaps you can attach 2 LEDs, a green one that goes on when the fan's running, and then a red one for when the fan is turned off. And that's your principle of your standby light on your TV. You get the little red light when there's no power and the green light when there is power. So it's all, you start at this stage and then you work your way up. So yeah, it's but we'll look at different projects. And I've been buying a couple of magazines. The one I bought is probably a little bit too much, but I thought maybe I can find some adverts in it. But the projects in there are just totally mind-boggling for me at this stage. Look, things like that. I'm like, whoa, what's going on there? I'm sure there's a couple of people looking at that and go, yeah, that looks pretty simple. But right now, I couldn't wire you up a buzzer. But from what I understand, breadboards is more draft mode. And then once you figure it all out with the breadboard, then you can wire it all up to a circuit board. That's I don't know. This is it's basically a breadboard seems to be a reusable circuit board. That's the conclusion I'm coming to. Right. So with that, do you mind if I wind the show up? If anybody is on Thingiverse, right, yeah, that's what I thought. So I don't need to use a breadboard for every project. I just use the breadboard to practice with, and then I put it all onto a circuit board. Because the circuit boards, can't you get them in big sheets and you just cut them to size? So with the R2D2, well, yeah, with the R2D2, don't you have like a circuit board over in the leg, and then you have one up in the head, and then you've got the wires running down, and it's just a case of keeping the wires. It's the wires that you've got to work out for when things move. You need enough cables so that it doesn't pull it too tight. So, but yeah, it's yeah, we've got something. So thank you, Chris. Yeah, I did enjoy it actually. I kind of started off thinking, are we going to be able to fill the show? Because obviously, when you've got something really simple, it's really hard to make a 2-hour show out of it. So next week is going to be fuel. It definitely is going to be the fuel tank, we think. I can't find my magazine now. Right. So we have fuel tank and we have the safety bars. Not seen a picture of the safety bars, so that's something I'm looking forward to. Because I also can't. Ah, right. I don't know if I'll be able to show you this too well because of the quality of the camera. But how close I can get that. All right. I'm guessing the safety bars are those black bits there. I might just have to bring that focus out. There we go. So those, I don't know if you can see the black bits. They must be the safety bars because I can't see anything else. So, but yeah. Well, this is right, Teddy. This is the idea of a collective, isn't it? We're all throwing ideas in, and we're also finding out that the ideas are transferable. So, you know, we're mentioning 3D printer, we're mentioning build a DeLorean. So now there's ideas that we can put onto the DeLorean, and likewise, there's ideas we can take from the DeLorean and the R2D2 build. So yeah, it's all good. So yeah, everything's, and we still got 97 weeks. So we are. Sorry, bear with me, get set, guys. We are over a quarter of the way through this build. That can't be right, can it? Yep, we're more than a quarter of the way through the build. So looking back, it seems to have gone quickly, but each individual week seems to be quite a long time coming. If you look at the pictures of the trams, the bars are the things running along the side of them. It's basically it's to stop you from passengers from going underneath. Although it's still got big wheel arches, but I suppose, Yeah, it was 33 weeks. That's what, 7 months. 26 weeks is 6 months. 7 months, pushing 8 months so far. Yeah. So yeah, and you can have a baby in 9 months, and we've pretty much got one in 8. So yeah, I'm happy with it now. I'm just keen. I don't know. Do you like knowing what's coming? Are you going to 97 more live mid? Yes. Yeah. Right. I am planning on doing this as live build all the way to the end. Um, I don't know what I'm going to do after, because to just go, here's 130, issue number 130. Goodbye, guys. I'm never going to see you again. That seems a bit. I don't want that to happen, and it might get all emotional. So maybe, hopefully, when we get to about um, if when we get to say issue 125, if there's a new interesting part work come out, maybe for the last few weeks we can incorporate two builds into one show, so that we can then carry on with the new build when that finishes. I don't know. I don't want to think. Um, but it's coming issue 93. Yeah, I mean, I look at. I'm trying to think of do this as a broadcaster. So when we look at what's coming up in, I mean, I love knowing what's coming next week, and I think I mean, that's public knowledge, so it's something that we should talk about. But what's coming in 10 weeks time? I like the surprise of. You remember when the chassis came, and I'm like, the lady in W Smith, she lumped it down on the counter, and it went tudum, and I'm like, Jesus Christ! And then you get other issues, and there's loads in there, and then you get another issue, and you're like, is that it? And then you're coming home thinking, well, that's a bit naff, and then you actually open it up and start to do it, and you go, well, actually, I was wrong. That was. Do you want to see where the front goes? Yeah, I mean, we had a play. I won't remind me next week, Chris. I'll put the front on. I really don't like picking the bonnet up off the shelf, because the more I move it, I keep damaging it. And it's at the moment, I'm damaging parts that are already damaged. But I mean, it's like I watched someone last week, and they broke the fog lamp off. So I don't want to knock mine off, and there's a couple of damaged bits that I'm going to have to repair. But as I say, at the moment, I'm not break. Once we get bodywork come in, then I've got something. The bodywork will kind of act as a cover for the fragile bits. Um, but yeah. Okay, you take care, Chris Campling. Yeah, Teddy, they do seem to be making mistakes. They're making. Last week they told us that this week is the fuel tank for the second time. So they've got that wrong. We had one week where they gave us the wrong screw. The exploded diagram showed us a different screw than the written instructions. It's only minor, but there's a spelling mistake in the instructions this week. It says next week, together with the safety bars, a lot either side of the subframe. It's only a minor thing, but obviously there's a translation issue going on somewhere, isn't there? But luckily the mistakes have only come in, have been small. I mean, telling us we're going to get something we're not, well, that's okay, because we'll get it eventually. And but that's, yeah, so maybe not knowing is a better thing. Interesting to see what actually turned. Yeah, we may not even get the fuel tank. They might just go, ta-da! Here is um, here is a magazine full of free bus passengers. So Right. Okay, guys. So I am going to take my bins out because it's definitely bin day tomorrow. It's our council bin tomorrow, as well as the blue bin. And I'm going to jump into bed. I'm going to have an early night. Do we know issue 37? No, we don't. There's a guy on Facebook, Kevin. He's the one who got that list of what's coming up. And I asked him the other week if we've got anything beyond that. And he says he'll try and find out closer to the time. But other than that, all I know is the next three issues, which is fuel tank and then 2 weeks of driver's cab. But to be honest with you, I'm happy. Me personally, if I don't know what's coming until the week before, I can live with that. But obviously, we do discuss it because I know some people are interested. Right. So my homework, which I probably won't complete this week, is to print off some of those figures. So we'll have a look at what they look like printed. It might well be that you'll have to get yourself some sandpaper and some paints and things, and finish them off. We'll see what the quality's like, and I'm sure there's something else to do. And Chris Davies, don't forget next week. Ask me to put the bonnet on, and then we'll have another look at what the front of the bus looks like. Right, so that's it then. So I'm going. Horlicks, if you're watching, have a fantastic holiday. Be nice if you can pop in and say hello during next week's show. But don't worry if you can't. We'll understand if you're drinking your margaritas on the beach. And this is me signing off. So I'll see you all next week. Take care. Bye bye.